What kind of softwares are used in an architectural firm? Hi, my name is Kashmira and I'm an architect. I have studied architecture in India and in the United States. I have worked in different organizations in India as well as the United States. In today's video, we are going to cover the question of what are the softwares used in an architecture firm. Let's dive right into it. In India, even today, the most commonly used software is AutoCAD. Of course, if you are a student, I'm sure you are proficient in AutoCAD and you have a good speed. I would highly suggest everybody to learn or to study Revit, because although abroad almost like 75% of the firms in the US are using Revit, eventually in India we are all going to transition into Revit. So the sooner you learn it, the better it is for you, so that you will be able to progress ahead of everyone else. It's always a good idea to get a head start compared to others. Now there is this entire field of architecture which is called BIM. Basically, BIM means Building Information Modeling. When people hear the word BIM, they directly just assume it to be Revit, and that is exactly what I thought it was. But as I progressed and learned more about BIM, I realized that it is so much more than just Revit. Now, one really good thing about BIM is that it helps interdisciplinary coordination. So now mechanical, electrical, plumbing, civil, structural and architecture, everybody can collaborate and work together on the same project, in the same file at the same time. And that is how you are able to navigate through and understand your own project and the building together, rather than having to look at floor plans in 2D again and again and then making changes according to that, and then trying to visualize something in your head and then going on site and then realizing that maybe the plumbing does not work through at this project, and then going back to your AutoCAD drawing. So of course, if you have it in 3D, if you're using Revit, it is much better. It takes more time to make the building model in Revit in architecture, but it saves so much of the time which happens later on site or when you're executing the project. So a lot of companies are still hesitant to move into Revit, of course, because it is also very expensive, but most of them have realized that they cannot any longer survive without Revit. So definitely Revit is a very important software which everybody should focus on. I would suggest you to start learning and being good at Revit as soon as you can. The better you are, the more opportunities you will get and the better work you will get, especially if you're working in a big firm, in a large scale firm. You will get much better projects to work on if you are proficient in Revit. AutoCAD is another software which falls under the BIM category, but there will be very few firms which use AutoCAD. In most cases, they will be firms which are focusing more towards interior design, and they want to make these really tiny details. And if that is something you're interested in, you should go ahead and learn AutoCAD. Now, BIM is such a large and a heavy topic that an entire video can be made just about BIM. If anybody wants to know about that, leave a comment below in the comment section and let me know if that is something that you're interested in, and I will definitely go ahead and try to make a video about that. Most of the firms will be using Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator or InDesign for making their presentations. Sometimes they even use PowerPoint. So that is, I think Photoshop everybody already knows how to use, but you don't necessarily know it at that level. You know it at a student level, but of course you can grasp it and go ahead and learn that quite quickly. To create really beautiful renders, most of the architecture firms will be using either Lumion or Enscape or 3D Max, D5 rendering, and in some cases they also still use V-Ray. So if that is an area you are good at, definitely you can brush up your skill in that, because that will definitely help you in the firm wherever you are working. If you want to work on really exciting projects which are related to conceptual design or building massing, then majority of the firms will be using Rhino, or in some cases they might even be using SketchUp, and I'm sure everybody already knows how to use SketchUp. Having said that, I know and we all know that SketchUp is a really easy software to learn, and at student level everybody has used it at some point, but at a professional level it will be used at a different level altogether. In today's day and age, at least 80% of the architecture firms in India will be using SketchUp. If you are working in an MNC, of course they will have different design tools like I mentioned Rhino. But if it is a small firm, let's say 15 to anything between 50 to let's say 100 people, they will still be using SketchUp. At a student level, of course, you will be using SketchUp at a very basic scale, but I have seen professionals within companies who can use SketchUp at such a fast pace and are able to generate very fast design ideas, wherein they can create different iterations, let's say like 5 different iterations of a building in one day. So if you want to go towards the design side, you might want to work on speeding up the process of your ability to generate and produce more work, and that will definitely help you in any office that you go to. Now, a lot of freshers or fresh graduates are going to think that they know everything about a particular software that they're using. I remember that I used to feel that way as well when I had graduated, but when you actually enter the profession and when you actually enter an office environment, you realize that you don't know anything. I mean, it's not like you don't know anything, it's just that at a student level you are just equipped with what you need to know and how you are able to produce the work, but the way that things are done in any office are done in a very systematic manner, and you have to follow the office standards or the office systems in order to produce the work that they want you to do. Everything needs to be done in a certain way, and there is no other way to do it. It's because the firm has established those standards at a period of many years, and that's how they have arrived at that decision. And it can be really challenging for somebody who is a fresher to adapt to that particular system, but at the same time, once you learn how to get those things done in that particular way, you really understand why they are done in that way, and it is very rewarding as you move forward. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please make sure that you subscribe, press the bell icon, and also like and comment below if you have any doubts. Bye.